Call to order the week at the whole meeting, the Board of Education for Moline School District, Moline Valley School District number 40, 6 p.m. on Monday, October 11th. Can I have a roll call, please?
Audrey Adamson.
Here.
Justin Anderson.
Present.
Chet DeSmet.
Here.
Kate Schaefer.
Here.
Maria Estragaros. Andrew Wayert.
Here.
Aaron Waldron Smith.
I need and the minutes of the meeting of September 15th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have no public comment, correct?
Correct.
So we're going to do a school spotlight for Butterworth Elementary.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Kopp. I'm the principal at Butterworth Elementary. And I've brought two staff members along and they can introduce themselves.
My name is Barry Reynolds. I'm the school counselor at Butterworth.
My name is Beth McMillian and I'm a first grade teacher.
And we just want to share a little information with you about Butterworth. So we are the Bobcats at Butterworth. We are very proud Bobcats, and you can tell by our entry wall here at school. So a little information about who we are. As you can see, we have teachers, support staff, students, and families. Right now, we have 231 pre-K through 5 students at Butterworth. You can kind of see how they break out there. I think probably our biggest number is this bottom number here. 145 students qualify for free and reduced lunch. That's by far our biggest subgroup population. And of course, all students are having free lunch this year, but 145 of our students qualify for free or reduced lunch. One of the things that we're most proud of at Butterworth is our parent mentors. This year, right now, we have 3 parent mentors working through the grant through Logan Square. And they're in classrooms daily, and they're doing a fabulous job. We also have 21 watchdogs signed up. And if you're not familiar with watchdogs, the dogs stands for Dads of Great Students. So we have 21 dads or stepdads or grandpas or uncles, a father figure in our students' life that come and spend a day with us at school. And they eat lunch with us. They help supervise on the playground. They help kids practice sight words. They listen to kids read. They just spend a lot of time with kids, and the kids really love having the watchdogs in the building. Their pictures are posted with their watchdog, and it's nice when they're in school with us. We also have a PTA at Butterworth that has about 10 regular PTA members. They're a small but mighty group, and they do a lot for us, and we're proud of them as well. We're doing a lot this year at Butterworth to meet our students' needs. We have a transitional first grade that we'd like to tell you about. We have some Core Plus More time going on that we'd like to share with you. And we also are working hard to meet our kids' social and emotional needs. So Beth McMillian will tell you about our transitional first grade, and I'll show you the pictures.
Okay, so we kind of thought that the kindergartners last year needed just that little extra push this year, since because of COVID, they kind of lost a lot of instruction. So we decided to start this transitional first grade, and what it is myself and the instructional coach, we work together. And so she takes about half of my class in the morning and takes them down to her room and does intense literacy instruction with them. And then I take the other, I keep the other half, and we stay in my room and I'm doing the same. So, we're going to benefit from that small group instruction, just trying to get, that extra push for them, to push them over the hump, get them to where they need to be, so they're true first graders. So getting them ready for second grade, so we kind of just work together, and it's working. We're seeing great progress in these kids. That small group really does help.
So. Also, you may have heard about the 4+ More time. At Butterworth this year, we have dedicated 45 minutes daily to 4+ More. We added an extra 15 minutes to include a reading structure that we wanted to implement. So our grade level teams plan for small group instruction, and they make that planning time right where kids need it. They're trying to meet them right where they are. And you can see from the photos that 4+ More includes small groups. It includes our parent mentors. There's one here. It includes our paraprofessionals, our interventionists, our academic recovery teacher. It's all hands on deck for every 4+ More time. Kids are working in reading and writing and in math during 4+ More time. And then finally, our counselor, Barry Reynolds, will tell you about what we're doing to meet our kids' social and emotional needs.
So this year we are having weekly lessons. The teachers have second step curriculum, so they're teaching that weekly in the classroom. And then I'm pushing in and doing weekly lessons as well, which is a lot different from before. Prior years, we've just been in monthly. So it's really nice just to get into the classroom and see the students every single week. And I know everyone by name at our school, which is really cool. So my lessons this year, I kind of got them from our Panorama data last year, and it went along with our fall data that we just got back. So last year, our lowest area was grit and growth mindset. So that's what I'm doing right now in my lessons that I'm pushing in. So every single week I'm teaching growth mindset and grit, and I'm planning on teaching that through the semester because we really feel like going deep instead of like surface level. So prior to this year, we would have taught like a different lesson maybe every single week. Whereas I feel like, or we feel like as a team, that teaching grit and growth mindset through the semester, they really will understand and get a feel for what that is, what it looks like, and hopefully we'll see growth from that on our Panorama data. And Panorama really has been a game changer before, because prior I would give, surveys to students or ask just for teacher feedback, what they feel like students need to work on socially and emotionally. But with the Panorama data with 3 through 5 students, we're getting that data back from them. So we're seeing what they think, and sometimes we don't really see it on the outside, we don't see what's going on inside. So based on that survey data, we're seeing what they're actually thinking. So it's been really great to be able to use that data and try to be more proactive as opposed to reactive, which I feel like we're doing a really good job this year on that, and hopefully it can just keep going forward in years to come, because we've had a lot of good conversation from the Panorama data, which is definitely what we want. So I feel like it's going well. We'll see. Hopefully the data will just get better and better throughout the year.
I'd also like to share with you some exciting news. This Saturday, if you're free, feel free to come down to Butterworth and help us build our new playground equipment. We're replacing some old playground equipment, and we're doing that with the help from our PTA and the Preschool for All grant. What I didn't mention before is that we have 2 preschool classes at Butterworth as part of the Preschool for All expansion grant. And we love having them there. We love getting those future Bobcats and Moliners right in our building and teaching them early and having them there. So this playground equipment will be dedicated to our earliest learners, our preschoolers, our kindergartners, and our first graders. So we're pretty excited about it, and I know the kids are excited to see it go up. And finally, I wanted to share this quote with you. Please ignore the lowercase I and the lack of a period. We're working on those things. But on our Panorama data this year, kids had the opportunity to leave a comment of something that they thought we should know. And we had 34 comments there, and 32 of them talked about how much they love school. And this was one of those quotes that I wanted to share with you, how much our kids love being in school, how much they love Butterworth, how much they love coming to school. Do any of you have any questions for me or Jerry or Beth about Butterworth?
I just had a question just because I was familiar with the Watchdogs program, just because my brother-in-law was involved in it over at Rock Island doing something. So I guess getting that off the ground, I guess tips for other schools that are trying in our district to start that as something that is going successfully at Butterworth.
Well, we start every year with a Watchdog pizza party. This year we had our pizza party right outside in our turnaround. And we invite all dads and kids to come to school. We share with them a little bit about the program, what it would involve. And we have a calendar right there, and we sign heads up right there. And it's a great way to kick off the program. There's a national Watchdogs organization also that we get some supplies from, get inspiration from as well.
Thanks for everything you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to a facilities update with Mr. McDermott.
Okay, it's been a while since we just gave you an update of where we're at and what we're doing. But we got a lot of stuff going on right now and in the near future for some of our big projects. So you'll see on the agenda tonight, you had an agenda for some of the HVAC for the summer. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We also have a Spire that's getting ramped up pretty high. So I thought it'd be good to say, hey, where are we at? You know, we have some ongoing facility projects, you know, the 1% projects that we talked about back in FY18, believe it or not, they're still ongoing. You know, most of that was the Moline High School HVAC and electrical upgrades. They're done per se, but we still haven't closed out. And we still have some corrections to make in the systems, because over a 3-year period, if you recall, the summer, we started with our heating and our boilers, and then we went to 1 year of air conditioning, partial of the high school, and then last year we completed the project. But there's a lot of still ongoing with that. The Bartlett Performance Center, long done, closed out. Franklin Elementary, long done, and closed out. LED lighting, district-wide, we still are ongoing with that. This last summer, we did 3 schools. The high school we finished, and then we did Logan, and then we did Lincoln Urban. So we still have 6 of the other schools that we're going to get to during the HVAC projects that we're doing with ESSER federal money and CARES. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Resurfacing parking lot, remember this is part of it? All the elementaries, Jefferson and Allendale that we did. So we still have that ongoing. We have air quality improvements that we just started up, you know, a little while ago with the CARES money, CARES 2 and CARES 3, we'll talk a little bit about. And then we have Aspire. So where are the funding, just to give you guys haven't heard this in a while, so I don't want to assume you remember it. So the first project was 22 million, 15 million was from the high school, 3 million for the Bartlett, 2.5 for the elementary fire at Franklin, and then about 900,000 for LED and 800,000 for the parking lots. The air quality improvements is 17.7 million out of CARES and out of CARES 2 and 3. If you remember, CARES 2 was about 7.5 million. Approximately 3.1 million was for learning loss, i.e. teachers that we hired. And then the remaining 4.4 was for facilities. And we got approval for our Shive architect, and then Russell, and that's ongoing now. We're gonna have, you see stuff right now that the chillers had a 30-week lead time. So for us to get those done in the summer, you can count, we're down a few weeks here. So the bid process went out, we got the bids, they came in favorable, right around what we estimated. And then now we gotta order them and hope they come in, you know. So this is the first stage of us getting approval last spring, right off the bat with CARES 2. So that enabled us to do the design work and then go out to bid. That takes forever. So that's very good. Aspire, we did back in December. We approved it as a budget as another next project. We said the budget would cost 2.8 million. We really transferred 3 million in June. If you remember, all the prices were going up and everything, and we'll talk about that a little later, but you know, where we're gonna end up, that's some of the discussion for future board meetings too. We don't know yet. So that's the funding behind it. If you look at the kind of closeout and the running tally, if we're doing, the Moline High School HVAC project was estimated at 15 million to date last week. We spent so far about 13.3 million. So we're in favor of being positive and getting that project done under. However, it's not closed out yet. There's a lot of bills that still have to be paid. And don't forget, in that estimate, we had a estimated demo for the old boiler room. So, you know, we got flexibility in there, but that came out very well. The Performing Arts Center was straight 3 million, that was done. The Franklin, if you remember, we were at 2.5 when we were making quick estimates. And we were fortunate that a lot of the stuff that we were doing was more covered by the insurance claim than we probably thought originally we could get away with per se. That's not probably the right way to answer that, but we came out to the good in the 600,000. LED upgrades were still about $170,000 under. We got 6 buildings, so that's gonna go over that. We missed that. And then the resurfacing the parking lots, we blew that one. If you remember, Logan was a real big add-on. Jefferson was a real big add-on, and Allendale. But you just never know what that ground, you know, and soil was. So that's where we're at. Good news overall. I can tell you sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not so good, but overall we're to the good. I think we'll finalize everything during the process with a very favorable outcome. Now, I haven't put the PE center on that. Now that has been closed out. That has been final for a while. The bills haven't closed out because we're having a little bit of problem with the paint on the floor. So, you know, we still have a track and a flooring paint. So we're not gonna close out until everything is up to standard. So I feel we'll be under that $14 million budget, and I'll come back when we're closed out, but I feel pretty good about that. The HVAC, I call it air quality improvement. So Brian submits something that we went over on the board. It's using their terminology, but we're talking about HVAC. CARES 2, I talked a little bit about it, 4.4. We did in the summer, in the spring and the fall, summer and the fall, we did the design work. We went out to bid. We got the bids back for the equipment, as the memo in the regular agenda said. That's only for equipment, not all equipment. The equipment we thought needed a lead time and to get approved. So you'll probably see a lot of little things follow up before we really get there. But we're in a good situation now, and that's for the 3 buildings for Jane Addams, Butterworth, and Logan. And the LED will be done at the same time as the air conditioning for those buildings. So we talked about the second part of the air quality. We talk about CARES 3, there's 13.3 million. If you recall, that had approximately 18.5, $19 million roughly in CARES. But they had about $5 million that was set aside. So that meant the feds and the states told you how to do it for learning loss, after school programs, summer school. And then the remaining was for the HVAC projects. And the 3 after that are Jefferson, Lincoln Irving, and Washington. And then don't forget, we kind of forget this because we all talk about the 6 buildings we're doing. But our goal is to try to get all of our HVACs up to speed, so we don't have to come back and touch that for a while. Bicentennial, that was built in 2008, has some issues. It's geothermal, the equipment runs very hard for that system, and we got a lot of repairs to it. Roosevelt's over 25 years old. You know, and then you got John Deere and Wilson that are nearing 14 years. So we're trying to get all of it. I don't know what we'll get to, but our priorities is the first 6 elementaries and then the most need for the other 4, and hopefully we can get through. So then we talk about Aspire, and we, just to review the timelines, you know, back in December, we approved the 2.8. We did the design committee work, and that took us all through winter and spring. And then after we designed it, the architects had, you know, time in the last 3 months to get the design so we could go out for a bid package. So we advertised that bid package last Monday. Folks, I don't know how it's gonna come in. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There's no telling. It's not a normal market that we're in. We hope we'll be there, but we'll see. So if you remember, we're talking on the upper right-hand side of this is the overview of the high school. That's the Aspire wing. If we talk about the individual, so you can see where we're at, the upper right-hand, and then I just narrowed it down. This is the floor plan we looked at. This is the design that the committee came up with. This is everything we did to say, hey, we're gonna go out to bid with. We went out to bid. If you remember, we talked about a 2.8 originally. We transferred the end of last fiscal year, 3 million from working cash. And at that time, I told you, bids were coming in. Every time we asked Russell for a new estimate, it just keeps on going up and up and up. So this is where we're at right now with the design committee. And folks, I have no idea what that bid's gonna come in. We're gonna know what that bid is. I'm gonna go back to the screen, and then we'll flip them back and forth so you can know. But here's our next steps. We're gonna review the bid opening on October 21st, with hopes of coming to the board with approval on the 8th. This is the same timeline we had, and we knew we were aggressive back then. And then construction's gonna start the day after kids are out. So the kids' last day is Friday, the 17th. Here's the deal. I don't know what those bids are gonna come in at. So we're gonna be on the 8th, asked to, what do you wanna do? We know there's gonna be no 2.8. You know, if there is, I'll be shocked. I'm not worried about a 2.8. I'm not even sure if the 3 is gonna come in. So we're gonna have to look at it and be actively thinking about what do we wanna do? Now, if it comes in, I told you we have a little extra money in that bond sale. We have some allocations that we can move around and get there. But I don't want everybody to be shocked when this bid comes in at whatever. You know, we think we had a bid originally in December that was well under the 2.8. And the more you find it, later you get in, and then April came, and we were 3.5. We cut back, we got under to maybe 1.31, and then the estimates are going up and up. So until you get that opening, we don't really have a decision. But I think come the 8th of November, we're gonna have that discussion. Do we wanna move on? Reallocate some funds that we have? Yes, then we can start the project. If we wanna say, hey, wait, hold off, see where we're gonna be at a year or two, I'm not gonna recommend that per se. I don't know where we're at. I don't know that numbers ever come down anytime after that. Or we could revise some of the things that we wanted. So the large thing that you're probably gonna do is, if you look at this is the gymnasium. And right up there, we cut the locker rooms in half for program needs. So if you look at here, we got flex rooms, we have flex classrooms, we have conference rooms, we have a little isolated rooms for small group teaching. This can be used for the alternative school, can be used a lot else. But it's not the classroom stuff. It's not the office. It's not, this is the school of health wing. we might have to reconsider this, if it's come too high, but it's, again, you guys are gonna have the choice to make. And well, let's see, maybe it comes in favorable, this is a great design. And it meets the needs of the kids. It needs the needs of the 21st learning going forward. It needs everything. But we gotta look at what it is. So I don't wanna catch you off guard. I don't wanna make any predictions, except it's not gonna come in at 2.8. But I knew that, I told you that in June. So that's where we're at. We're gonna be moving in light speed, but everything will be the decision of the board. The board, what's your wishes? But it's a great design, meets the needs of the kids, and it's doing a lot for that high school in that section. A lot of the things you think about, school health link, they got an area over there. They're gonna use a dedicated space. That will help us with a lot of the needs that we're seeing arise right now with, COVID situations, with other vaccine situations, with just kids being sick from the town, let alone our school district. So that's a nice dedicated area. Everything over here in the pool has not been touched. Except one of the things, once you got a fire door here, we decided to sprinkle the whole thing. Because once you touch it, you really have to. We can make an argument not to. We tried to argue with ourselves and talk ourselves into it. Well, let's not sprinkle the pool, they're already wet. No, that's a joke. But when you had to sprinkle the whole pool, it's unique. When we did the Performing Arts Center and all the surrounding classrooms, we sprinkled the whole area. When we did the PE center and we did the surrounding area without new square footage, we sprinkled the whole building. When we did Franklin, the board's wishes at that time was to sprinkle the whole building. So it's hard to say we touched it, we're not going to. But it adds cost, but we think it's the right choice. So we went out with the bids with all those things in mind, knowing full well, we're gonna have some decisions to make. So with that, that's where we're at, and we're going light speed ahead in order to air condition 3 elementary buildings and do the LEDs. Very, very time sensitive, and we're doing that. Aspire, a timeline that is extremely tough and tight, and we knew that. That's all right. That's what we do. But we don't have time to sit and ponder our decisions. But I want you to feel comfortable with what you're being asked to do. So with that, I think you got great projects. And that's a lot of work in another summer that's historical and for the district. So with that, any questions you want to ask? Other than what do you think the boss is going to be, I'll answer.
Not so much a question, but just to say that this is so exciting, because I had a conversation with a family the other day with children in Boston Village, and just the fact that even though they're going to have a child there experiencing that, just excited about what is happening in the district in terms of where we're moving that and the possibilities of it. So even though I know there'll be some decisions to make regarding as this cost maybe increase, I think it's still exciting that we have this. I live half a block from Logan, and so it's like a spaceship has landed over there with the LED lighting on the outside, but not like an annoyingly bright spaceship, just a very soft yet bright spaceship.
Good, that's what we were going for.
It is. So it is, so just those things that are happening, it's just exciting to see that after we have Lisa and Bartlett, so it's just really, I think the community feels that excitement too about air conditioning and everything, so thank you for these updates. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion for adjournment? So moved. Favor?
Aye.
Do we need a break to? We need to run out of room for anything. Okay. So I'll start the regular meeting of the Board of Education for Moline Valley School District number 40. Monday, October 11th, 2021 at Coolidge Professional Development Center at 6:30 PM. We have a roll call, please.
Audrey Adamson,
Here.
Justin Anderson, Chet DeSmet.
Here.
Kate Schaefer,
Here.
Maria Estragaros, Andrew Wayert,
Here.
Aaron Waldron Smith,
Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the minutes for the open session of the regular Board of Education. September 27th, since the recommended motion, the board approved the minutes from that meeting on September 27th, 2021. The motion.
So.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? We have no public comment.
correct.
Move on to the consent agenda. The recommended motion of the Board of Education approve the actions contained in the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Discussion. Have a roll call, please.
Justin Anderson,
Aye.
Chet DeSmet,
Aye.
Kate Schaefer,
Aye.
Maria Estragaros, Andrew Wayert, Audrey Adamson,
Aye.
So it's approval of Board of Education School Maintenance Project Grant. Recommended motion that the Board of Education approve the school maintenance project grant application for the HVAC project at Jane Addams, Butterworth, and Logan Elementary Schools. Second. Any discussion? And have a roll call, please.
Chet DeSmet,
Aye.
Andrew Wayert,
Aye.
Audrey Adamson,
Aye.
Justin Anderson,
Aye.
Kate Schaefer.
Aye. Move on to reports, requests, and open discussion. Dr. Savage?
Okay, today we began our 9th week of instruction. Quarter 1 ends this coming Friday. It's actually kind of hard to believe. We have fall parent-teacher conferences scheduled for the following week on October 21st and 22nd. And we encourage as much parent participation in conferences as possible so we can continue to work together as a team to help coach students toward as much academic recovery and growth as possible. We are in our 3rd week now of managing Governor Pritzker's mandate to have all employees show proof of vaccination or submit to weekly testing. I can tell you that as a district, we are managing the expectations well and are overall in a really good place. We currently have 840 staff members that have proven full vaccination. That is just over 80% fully vaccinated now as a district. That means we are tracking the weekly COVID testing results for approximately 170 employees. We have a weekly review process in place that is well documented and proven to be effective and efficient, and we'll continue with this plan until further direction from the state. And lastly, this past week was a special homecoming celebration for Moline High School, the district as a whole, and the community of Moline and Coal Valley. The parade was well attended, even in the rain. The football game was a success, and I heard the dance had higher participation than pre-pandemic numbers. We are proud of the work of our staff and students that they have put forth to make these milestone events a reality for our students. They have lost so much, and pulling this off, given the restrictions that are still in place, has been amazing. That is all I have.
I did have one question on the 20% testing. That's all employees, including like cafeteria, aides, and things like that. Everyone. Correct. Okay. You're a professional. Great. Does anyone else have any questions?
How does that work with the contractors, like the food service workers that are
Right.
employees?
So we have agreements in place with Chartwells as an example,
Yeah.
Johannes Bus Service as an example, and a number of other organizations that we contract with. we partnered with them and created sort of a verification that the leadership of those organizations would vet their employees. So we as a district could rest assured that, say, if a Chartwell's employee was on our property or a Johannes driver was transporting our students, and we know they've been vetted through their management in their own organization. So we've got a number of those partnership agreements signed with our vendors and the other agencies that we partner with on a daily basis. Good question.
I have a question about that. So I haven't dealt with it yet. Is it basically just the contractor saying, yep, we're in compliance with what you want, and then we're just kind of saying, all right, we trust you, or are we viewing things ever as far as like, okay, contractor A, you say that everybody are, do we have like an audit process, I guess it would be, with those contractors?
We haven't done that yet with the contractors. We are managing and auditing, if you will, I like that word, with our 170 employees that haven't proven vaccination. This is the third week. So we haven't gone back to those contractors to double check what their process was. We just have those agreements in with, as YMCA as an example, that they would vet their employees. And again, it's not every contractor, every vendor, it's those working directly with students for 15 minutes or more. So that automatically takes out a number of the people that we partner with that aren't engaging with students directly, but might be on the grounds or somewhere in a building. So we are working through that to identify who is actually working with students and school personnel on a day-to-day basis. We may get to a point where we need to circle back with them. To be honest, right now, we're still honing in and polishing our own process. It was kind of a beast to tackle, but I am grateful, especially partnering with Mr. Dite and his department in HR for helping us manage that. It's become more manageable than I thought it was going to be, and that's a good thing. So then the next piece would be to circle back with those vendors, but we haven't done that just yet.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Thank you. Does anyone here have anything they want to discuss? Okay. Well, I guess we can adjourn. Need a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Uh,